Enlightened centrism is obviously a meme for the masses, but I've also drawn a number of persons of influence into my orbit. So let's go through, rank my orbiters, and see what they comment on this video. Okay, first up we have TierZoo. TierZoo, one of my most successful orbiters, several million subscribers. Well done to him. I think we put him in A tier, right? Nice guy, archetypal master of infotainment, sort of the best example of mixing entertainment and information in a useful way that I try to model with my League of Legends videos. Unfortunately, he's just too moderate. I asked him to make a video proclaiming his allegiance to enlightened centrism, and he refused, so, you know, that keeps him at A tier, but good stuff overall. Okay, next up is FD Signifier. FD is always talking shit about me.
You should connect with PFYO. He is a to quote him, enlightened centrist. He's kind of a shit bird. I would never bring him to my audience, like, not even like to clown. Well, yeah, probably.
Sure.
But he's like, I think he's genuine in his bad politics, though. That makes sense.
Jesus Christ.
FD is an anti-centrist bum, but he does leave respectful comments on my videos, and he engages with some of my stuff. So, you know, he's in the orbit, but he's D tier, obviously, way too far left, and we'll bring him to the glorious center at some point. Okay, I can sense the centrism brewing inside him. Next up, Andrew Wilson from the Crucible, also D tier, abrasive, intolerable asshole, but a useful pawn of enlightened centrism, pushing back against degeneracy on the red pill right. As I've said before, Andrew is someone who respects and responds to strength, and a lot of people don't like it, but that's just, there's certain people like that in the world, and you gotta respect them for what they do. And when you put it all on balance, compared to other people he talks to, he does show a level of respect to me that I am appreciative of. So, but he gets D tier, along with FD Signifier. That's embarrassing. Okay, next up, CJVX, the light side Jordan Peterson.
I, as a joke, called myself a light side Jordan Peterson.
Also A tier. CJ is basically, you know, what I am to many of my viewers, CJ is to me, in terms of, I watch his channel the most of any channel. I'll probably watch most, if not all, videos of his. And I think he condenses complex philosophical information very, very well, and in an entertaining way. If you enjoy my more, advanced videos, you will definitely enjoy CJVX, so check him out. Next up is Anton, Gold Becoming, one of the original hosts of the now defunct Gender Fucks podcast. That's Gender F-U-X, not F-U-C-K-S. He makes some great videos that I've gained insight from. But he's at B tier because he hasn't put out enough videos, the son of a bitch. So go over to his channel, Gold Becoming, and comment, where are the videos, you absolute dweeb? Next up, Chris Kavanaugh from Decoding the Gurus, C tier, straight to C tier. Nice guy. Enjoy talking to him. I learn a lot from him sharing his perspective and criticisms on people like Jordan Peterson. But he is just a heathen against enlightened centrism, and it's wildly unacceptable. But, you know, I'll allow it. I guess it's unacceptable, but it's not like there's nothing I can do about it. So I can put him in C tier and shame him until he joins the glorious enlightened center, which will be inevitable, where everyone ends up. Next up, JJ McCullough. Obviously S tier, okay? Enlightened centrist versus dark centrist is the premier political / philosophical / cultural / metaphysical YouTube commentary show. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone says it's the cat's pajamas. Even though JJ's obviously in his neoliberal bubble and he's a shill for big pharma and the military-industrial complex and big finance and all of that, he provides a useful foil for engaging intellectual discussion. So S tier, obviously, partner in crime, Mr. JJ McCullough. Although he's Canadian, so I should bring him down. No, we'll leave him at S. It's fine. Okay, next up, James Cussin from Living Philosophy. I believe that's how you say it, Cussin. Smart guy, very witty, good guy overall. B tier, though, and the reason we put him in B tier is because he criticized Jordan Peterson, and obviously you can't do that. But actually, the real reason is because he had a very good video about Michel Foucault and the postmodernists and how they were up to some weird shit as far as abolishing certain laws around age restrictions between the kind of relations that adults and children can have with each other. And he took the video down because it was getting consumed by a bunch of trolls, obviously. But, you know, you got to commit to free speech, all right? Enlightened Centrism 101, free speech, uber alles. Next up, CounterPoints, also B tier. I would put him in A tier as an orbiter in terms of he retweets all my tweets, great stuff. He is an adult with a family and, you know, he learns how to touch grass. He's done some actual volunteer work in regards to helping out some people after a hurricane came through, and I think he leverages online community, so he did pretty well. Also, you know what? Based Warhammer videos puts him at A tier. We're revising. That's That's, go watch the Warhammer stuff. He made a bolter. That's incredible. Okay, next up, Pinecreek Doug. Pinecreek, well, C tier. He's first off C tier. Utterly, first off, probably the worst hairline of anyone on this list. Extremely rude and sarcastic, and his hypotheticals are awful. And unfortunately, he's probably me in 50 years or whatever he is. I think he's 60-some, 70-some like that. But he did bend the knee to enlightened centrism, so we will give him some respect for that.
P.F. Chung has convinced me to call myself an enlightened centrist.
Okay, next up is Destiny. Destiny is C tier. He reacts to my videos every now and then, which makes me money, so that's great. And he'll show up to debate me every now and then on a panel or two, and I absolutely wreck him, of course, obviously. Destiny, as I've said before, is a sociopathic truth machine, committed to the truth.
We've watched a couple of this guy's things before. He is really good at this.
Everyone benefits from it, not him. I think he pays a significant price psychologically. And he would probably do well to watch my video, Why Everyone Who Disagrees with Me is Probably Autistic, because he's too focused on the logical coherency of ideas. It's like, bro, there's deeper things at play here than logic. Also, he's too mean, I think, just generally. Too mean. And he should be nicer. So he's C tier orbiter. Next up, Roenn. Roenn is B tier. Musically and artistically talented. His memes are in competition with my memes for best memes ever. His rap battles are pretty goddamn good. It's really hard to say otherwise. And it was nice of him to pack up his whole family. He actually picked up his whole family, 7 children, moved them to Dallas, just so he could be close enough to do the in-person podcasts for PFing Media. So that's great. But he's still a member of Destiny's cult who believes that not everyone is religious, which is just a classic non-enlightened centrist mistake. And he cares too much about philosophy. And he's a nerd. He's a nerd when he should be caring more about the memes. So we'll keep him at B tier. Josiah, Pondering Politics, straight to D tier. Progressive and actually he's closeted fascist. I think he said he should. If as long as the Democrats are doing it, we should overtake the Supreme Court or some shit like that.
And then I would turn to the Supreme Court and be like, guys, I dare you to try to order me into default. And if you do, then I'll do what President Lincoln did during the Civil War. Non-acquiescence. The Supreme Court has no army. They've got shit. All they have is good faith. And if you're not going to exercise good faith, well, then I'm not going to exercise good faith. And just remind everybody that Joe Biden, sometimes I feel like he forgets it, is the most powerful man on earth.
But you know what? He's a very nice guy, especially offline. He's given me some good advice and some good encouragement. And he's willing to debate Pinecreek Doug. And if you're willing to debate Pinecreek Doug, that's pretty powerful. So, but he's a progressive shill. And anyone who's a straight up partisan can't be higher than D tier, Sitch and Adam. B tier. Sitch and Adam, the original enlightened centrists. Great stuff. We've talked before. We've butt heads over various issues, Israel-Palestine on some things. And they showed a severe lack of faith in my ability to convert Vaush to enlightened centrism, which turned out we're probably right about. But they do, I think, advance the vanguard of the glorious center, and that's great stuff. So shout out to Sitch and Adam. And to be honest, I believe Adam sharing my video was the first time I went over 1,000 subscribers. So technically, I owe my feudal allegiance to Adam. He's my liege lord, but we'll keep him B tier for now. Next, Gen X Jeff, S tier, the gay Satanist moderator of PFing Media, the OG. Him and Chris have their streams, I believe, every day. Jeff is a good guy, and he's been moderating the PF Jung chats for some time. I don't know if he's been doing it as of late, but absolute S tier orbiter. And really, if you don't have a gay Satanist moderator in your sphere, then what are you even doing? Wick from WhickTV, B tier. Why? Because he's a nice guy. But he's too progressive, and he's in Destiny's cult like half of these people on here. Maybe not on this list, but most of these people on the internet nowadays. Bonus points for being a Lex Friedman orbiter, because Lex Friedman is always commenting on Wick stuff, so great stuff. And he just facilitates great conversations, and he's a very nice guy. So solid stuff, B tier. B tier's not bad. Remember, we're adults here. This is a normal distribution, okay? B is average, but average PF Young orbiter puts you in, the elite ranks. So great stuff. Next up, Jon Pike, BRDGS. We put him in D tier for one reason only, okay? One reason only. First off, great guy. Came down to Dallas from Canada, fled the communist country of Canada to do an in-person podcast. Great stuff. Very talented musician. I believe I'm in his 0.001% of listeners on Spotify because it's just straight up good music. And he's got excellent mimetic capabilities with his music videos on Twitter that you should absolutely check out because they're hilarious.
Oh, baby.
Look at what Twitter has done to Elon. Hunter Biden literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement. I would not have cared.
Whatever whatever scope of Joe Biden's corruption is.
But the reason he's in D tier is because he shits on team fight tactics in League of Legends, and that's unacceptable and is an immediate D tier. And in fact, should be expelled from orbit, but we'll make an exception. Next up is Vaush. Vaush, also D tier. Why? Because he's, because he's a postmodernist, okay? And look, I get people want to accuse me of being postmodernist. Fine. If you want to call pragmatism postmodernism, go ahead. Be my guest. I'm talking postmodernism in the cringy, let's define terms so there's nothing is real and truth is not a real thing and blah, 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 blah. Postmodern bread tuber, but you know what? When I debated him, he was a nice guy to me.
I actually did like talking to Paul a good amount. But with Paul, my man's actually a guy, like a person,
And I think we need to build more bridges in the world, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I'll just put him in D tier in the PFM Orbiter tier list. Then lastly, we have JREG. I'm not going to elaborate on this. Neither will I elaborate on any time I put JREG in any tier list of mine.
You've got good riz, as the kids say.
All right, everyone, this has been the PFM Orbiter tier list. Great stuff. Links to every conversation I've had with these people in the description. Godspeed.